Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jennifer Huber, also known as Solo Travel Girl, and since June of 2022, I've been using Mounjaro to manage my type 2 diabetes, and I've been documenting this experience every week on YouTube. So hello! Before I get into this week's update, I just want to remind you about my disclaimer that I am not a healthcare professional and I'm just sharing my personal experience and opinion about using Mounjaro to manage my type 2 diabetes. Also, I have no relationship with the drug manufacturer, with any pharmacies whatsoever. Again, I'm just sharing my personal experience and opinion. And if you've been following along, you know this medication has been really a game changer in my life. Since I've been on it for over a year, I have lost 60 pounds, but what you cannot see is how it has improved my A1C. I started off at 8.2. I'm now at 5.4. I'm no longer on my blood pressure medication. I had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease before taking this medication, and that has since been reversed. And it's just been a wonderful, amazing medication. It has really changed my life physically and I think mentally as well. It's given me a little more confidence out there. And as I told NBC Nightly News, even though there's less of me, I do feel more seen in this society. All right, let's get into this week's update. So I injected myself with week 60 of Mounjaro on Friday. That was a 10 milligram dose. I don't know if I'll ever be on the 10 milligram dose again because that finished up a box. And sitting in my refrigerator, I have 3 boxes of 7.5. So that should take me, into November or so. So I'm okay with that. I didn't lose any weight this week. I didn't gain any weight. It was a wash. I'm still 130 pounds this week. Also, I'm 5'4", not 5.4. I'm 5 feet 4 inches for some context as to my size. Any side effects? I didn't experience any side effects. I've been on this medication for a while at the 10 milligram dose, so I didn't experience any side effects. I am feeling a little bit off today, especially this morning, and I think it's because my nutrition. We could talk about nutrition. My nutrition, what I'm putting into my body has been pretty decent this week. However, yesterday I have some family visiting from out of town, and I had a glass of sangria. I have cut back on my alcohol almost entirely since being on Mounjaro. I just don't have the interest in alcohol. And again, it doesn't taste the same. And it does seem to affect me longer. It's not necessarily like a hangover, but just feeling really, really sluggish. The sangria, obviously, it tasted okay. It tasted good. The best part of it was the cherry. They got that fresh fruit in there. But today I just felt like I didn't have any energy to walk my dog this morning. Um, so speaking of walking my dog, my exercise basically has been walking 2 times a day with my dog and then doing my lawn work in this Florida heat. And speaking of Florida heat, my gosh, I am fascinated with what's happening out west with the tropical cyclone, with I know it was Hurricane Hillary. I think maybe it's a tropical storm now, but I'm just fascinated as to what's happening out there because that typically doesn't happen there. And I used to live and work in Death Valley National Park, and I know they had terrible mudslide. I think it was last year. And, if they get 3 inches of rain, that's just going to be horrible because they annually get 2 inches of rain. So, anyway, I know I took a little digression there, but if you're out west in the path of the storm, please be safe. In Florida or southeast, we're more accustomed to these tropical storms and hurricanes and that. We actually have 5 systems in the Gulf of or we have 5 systems in the Atlantic right now, one in the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, just stay safe and listen to the government officials and don't go out and try and take photos or videos. Yeah, just be safe. Anyway, I digress. Sorry about that. Squirrel. Okay, just kidding. All right, so let me just make sure that I have covered everything here. So, my glucose numbers. I did check my glucose this morning after last night. It was in the 90s, which is okay. Most morning this past week, my glucose ranged between the 80s and I think it was 101 the other day, but I did have a day where it was in the 70s. And I think I told you that I have my glucose monitor syncs with my phone, which syncs with a teledoctor program. And so I got a text message from telehealth people asking if I was okay because my blood sugar was in the 70s. And I said, yeah, I felt great. And honestly, I did feel great. So it's not the first time that that's happened, but it's nice that someone cares, that they're willing to text to make sure that I'm doing okay. So, what else do I have going on? Exercise, nutrition, spoke a little bit about that, but I really wish that you could smell what I have cooking in the kitchen right now. A few hours ago, I put in some chicken and some vegetables, and I am making some chicken curry in the slow cooker, and it smells so good. You know, I use chicken breast, so it's going to be healthier for me. But it smells delicious. And then something else that I made this week, and I'm going to try and do a video about it, is I have a personal ice cream maker. It's from Rise. I got it on clearance at Walmart, a month or so ago. And I made something similar to Ben and Jerry's Chunky Monkey. Basically, it has about a third to a half of a very ripe, mushy banana. It has coconut milk, cream, and maple syrup. Then I added in some dark chocolate chips and some chopped walnuts. And it does taste like Chunky Monkey. And I haven't figured out, sugar, carb, calorie count on that, but there's no sugar other than the natural sugars with the maple syrup and the coconut milk and the bananas, which I understand can be high. But having this, in my mind at least, it seems like it's healthier than eating the real deal. I like to have my ice cream, a little bit of sweet tooth, um, sometimes after a long day. All right, so that's that. Also, I'm making my yogurt. I have another batch of yogurt brewing up, so looking forward to enjoying that this week. And overall, I'm just feeling great. I'm still getting used to having my legs touch each other because I can feel the bone, so it feels like bone on bone. Or when I'm sitting for a long period of time in a chair or something, even driving in my car, I can feel I could basically feel like my butt bones they're just touching the surface, and that's a little bit uncomfortable. So I need to get used to that. So yeah, and this is the month where I am getting caught up on all my health needs. August is the time where I'm just getting myself all fine tuned. I had a dental appointment this month. I told you about my physical with my general practitioner. I had a dermatology appointment this past week. I also met with my gynecologist this week. And this week I have coming up a annual eye exam, which is really important for diabetics to make sure that our eyes are healthy. So far, all these past years, I've been doing great with my eyes, with my vision and that. And they do, take extra, do a more in-depth exam, so to say, because I am diabetic, to make sure everything is A-okay. So I hope everything is A-okay with you all and that you are having success on Mounjaro, whether you're just starting out or if you've been on Mounjaro for as long as I have, or maybe you've been on it longer. I hope you're having much success with it. If you are starting out, I hope you check out some of my other videos. Yeah, you are going to have some rough patches. I will come right out and say it. You might be experiencing some nauseousness. You might experience some constipation. But it's so important to eat properly when you're on this medication, and obviously it's important to stay hydrated as well. Stay away from those fatty foods as well. Those are my 3 tips off the cuff right now as to the best advice I can give you if you're just starting out on Mounjaro. So if you saw the title of this post, I've been playing around with AI, artificial intelligence, and I had the Microsoft Bing chat AI system write a couple poems related to Mounjaro. And let me recite those to you. So the first one, basically, I just asked the chat to write a poem about Mounjaro. So it's titled Mounjaro, My Hero and Friend. Mounjaro, you are my hero. You help me fight my type 2 diabetes. You make me feel stronger and healthier. You lower my blood sugar and A1C. Mounjaro, you are my friend. You support me every week with your injection. You make me feel happier and more confident. You inspire me to make better food selections. Mounjaro, you are my miracle. You have changed my life in a year and a month. You make me feel lighter and more agile. You help me lose more than 60 pounds. Mounjaro, you are my gratitude. You deserve a poem of appreciation. You make me feel hopeful and renewed. You are the best medication. All right, I guess I need to practice that, but that was the first Mounjaro poem. And the next one, I gave it different parameters. It's titled Mounjaro and Me, and I asked the AI system to write it in the tone of Emily Dickinson. So here we go. Mounjaro and Me. I could not stop for death. He kindly stopped for me. But then I met Mounjaro, and he had to set me free. He drove me past the doctors, where I used to go in vain. He showed me my new numbers, my A1C and weight. He took away my pressure. He cleansed my liver too. He gave me back my vigor and made me feel brand new. We passed the YouTube channel, where I share my journey now and thank my faithful followers who cheer me on somehow. We paused before sunset that seemed to last so long. Mounjaro whispered softly, "You have a lot to live for." The end. All right. I know it's a little silly, but AI is kind of fun. Now, let me show you what AI, at least the Microsoft Bing Chat AI, thinks I look like. I've been using it, and I thought it was pretty clear as to who I am. But take a look at these cartoons as to what AI thinks I look like. Okay, maybe that's how I write and all that AI thinks that's how I look. So anyway, it's all good fun. So again, thank you so much for being here. Again, I hope you're having success with Mounjaro. And I do appreciate your comments. I do read them. I know I'm slow to respond to them, but I do read them. So I think you know what's coming up next. I hope you have a fantastic and awesome week. Remember to be kind to others, but most importantly, be kind to yourself. Thank you and see you next week. Bye.